Hello, Village, and welcome back to Twanna Y'vette Speaks. I am your host, Twanna Y'vette, and for the next few minutes, we are going to be talking about what you are seeing on the screen. Tamar Braxton, boyfriend files for restraining order. I am kind of surprised, but not really surprised, so I will try to put a spin on my commentary to let you guys know what I think and how I feel about this situation. Okay, as you guys know, a few weeks ago, Tamar tried to take her own life, and her family spoke out about it on social media, asking for support and prayers. And there were a few celebrities that, gave the love and support on social media. And I was under the understanding, if you will, about Tamar receiving the help that she needed. And I'll tell you why I have a problem with that after I get to the article, but I want you to know what's going on first. So let's dive into the article. All right, Tamar Braxton's boyfriend is running to court asking for protection against her in what he describes as a domestic violence situation. This is from TMZ, and they learned this just a few hours ago. The singer's BF, which is David Adafesto, filed for a restraining order Tuesday in LA seeking to prevent DV, and he's asking a judge to grant him one against Tamar. For now, it's unclear what he's alleged she may have done. All right, so moving right along, it does look like the court has approved his request. Just yet, we're reaching out to Tamar's team to get more info. So far, we have not heard back, which is understandable. And I will leave the link in the description box so that you can listen to the 911 audio if you did not hear that or see that on my last Tamar Braxton video. So let's move on with the updates. At any rate, it's another sign that things have been violated or violent lately. I think that's a typo in her life. Volatile, I should say, especially as it pertains to David. Remember, he's the one who called 911 not too long ago saying Tamar was threatening to take her life. He also mentioned her WeTV beef to cops at the time, and we did hear that on the audio. Also, keep in mind, family sources connected to Tamar have told us that they believe she's changed since getting with him, claiming her mood seems to align with his. We've also been told that David has come off as controlling in Tamar's reality show and that he's been quite involved in her business decisions of late. Now, as far as the reality show, I do plan on recording that. I doubt that I'll have time to watch it, as it airs, but um I do want to watch it, and I've seen the commercials, and I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think. And I think this is all the information that TMZ has. But if you guys have read other articles that may be out there, leave them in the description. I mean, the comments below, not the description box, but the comments below. So I think the only thing that's on this article, as far as I can see, is the video, which, of course, I can't play it here because it belongs to TMZ, and it's actually audio. And I do have my own audio, but it's on a different video if you scroll back in my video. So, all right, let's get into this commentary. First and foremost, when I understood that Tamar was going off at the TV executives and, she was just having so many issues, the thing for me was it wasn't the issue. As we have been watching the Braxton family values, you guys will notice that even with Iyanla Van Zant and Pastor T.D. Jakes and Dr. Sherry, the life coach, no matter who comes in and speaks with these girls, Tamar, her behavior has always been the same. And the sisters say, okay, she's been like that since she was a child. Now, let's go back to Tamar's childhood. What do we know about that? What we know is she was violated by a family member, and that came out on the Braxton Family Values. And they wanted Tamar to talk about this in several shows, and she refused. She came on social media and she started this movement, and it supposedly was on her website. I'm sorry, I did not visit Tamar Braxton's website, but it spoke out against violence, meaning molestation by family members, raped by and it said, "Don't be shame," I think is what it was. And so, as I'm sitting here, I can look that up. But what I what I believe to be true is that Tamar indeed, in fact, was violated. Okay, I think she was, and I think that because of that violation, it altered her character a bit. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I suffered several different types of violences when I was growing up because my parents were not equally yoked. So the man that I call dad now is really my stepdad, but a lot of people don't know that because my parents have been married for over 30 years. And I'm just telling you that bit of my personal life because it relates to what I feel she's trying to ignore. And for me, counseling was of the utmost importance because I wanted to see clearly from that and I wanted to, move on. I did not want to stay in that same, mindset. It just didn't, it didn't work for me. It causes self sabotage, point blank and period. For me, self sabotage at a certain point in my life was not an option. It was not an option for me. So, what I proceeded to do was to go to counseling and to talk about it. And when I started my YouTube channel years and years ago, my other YouTube channel, I was just really open about it. And the more I talked about it, the less I cried about it. And you can't keep wounds, taped up with a bandage, especially, it's kind of like I'm going to put this band aid on a gunshot wound, if you will. It doesn't work like that. You have to do what it takes to heal because hurt people hurt people. And so, not being able to be in a productive relationship, that was something that just, wasn't for me. I don't want to get married and divorced and break up my friendships and not get along with my family. And I'm seeing a lot of that behavior in Tamar. If you guys agree with me, or even if you don't, leave some comments and let's start a dialogue about this. This to me is really deep. And I decided to commentate on this story because, it just resonated as I saw different behavior, and her behavior tends to, cover up things. Like if it gets too intense, she's either going to joke about it or she's going to get really loud about it. And you can just see in her behavior. Do I think Tamar is, a good person? I do. I just feel like, and this is just my opinion, I feel like if she takes care of what is bothering her, what has been gnawing at her for years since she was a child, that she will give herself a better chance. There's no reason not to. Just, I mean, when you go to counseling and when you talk to these people, I'm a professional life coach. Look, if somebody tells me their stuff, I have an obligation to keep that to myself. It's in a contract. So there's no reason off the show, off the air, for you not to heal. Get yourself together so that you can stop making all of these bad choices, knee jerk reactions, and all of these broken relationships. Like, it just doesn't add up for me that a person would choose to continue living recklessly, especially when it's your mental state that's at jeopardy, rather than going to get help. I was under the understanding that she was getting help. That was my understanding. Um, per her sisters and family on social media, she's getting the help that she needs. And I was like, oh, thank God, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the chance. And I don't know this to be true. This is just, in my mind. I just feel like maybe she quit prematurely, or as we have seen on television, she didn't want to go there. We're not going to talk about that. And so, I mean, I just feel like when you're faced with a situation and it's very, very painful and you don't want to go there and you put the brakes on it, you know what I'm saying? There's a time for everything. But Tamar's in her 40s now. She's not the little girl anymore. She may be the youngest, but she's not, a toddler. She's not a teenager. She's not a young adult. Like, she's middle aged like the rest of us, okay? So it's about time for you to get it together. Do I believe that Tamar can't handle getting it together? Do I feel like she can't handle that part of therapy? Absolutely not. Tamar has proven herself to be a very strong individual over the years. I had never heard of Tamar until Tony Braxton, and then she introduced her sisters, and so everything on the show about them singing background and stuff. I was like, yes, I remember that. I'm a Tony Braxton's fan, so of course. And I was gung ho. I was so hyped for the show because I wanted to get to know the personalities of all the sisters. And I just thought that Tamar was so, wild and witty and funny at first. But then something hit me about the third season of Braxton Family Values. It it didn't resonate well. Her demeanor and how she was behaving. And when it came out that she may have been molested as a child, I was like, that's it. You have to take that strength that you have, that lashing out that you have at everybody else, giving great advice to everybody else in a loud tone, and turn that into the strength you need so that you can be healed. It's just not okay to be the root of every single problem in every situation. And if more than one person, excuse me, says, it's Tamar, it's Tamar, it's Tamar, then it's time to look at Tamar. I know from personal experience, but I was a lot younger when I decided to, seek help. I am a survivor. I'm not a um, victim, as most people would say. I refuse to carry that label. So we're not going to be victims anymore. We're going to be victors. Okay, guys, I'm sorry I got interrupted for a minute. But anyway, getting back to the commentary, I feel like Tamar should really just, go through the healing process because it is painful. It is going to take, some work. It's going to take some time to heal, but, you have to present yourself as, eager and ready to go through the process. And yes, it's going to hurt like crazy because you have to relive this stuff. You have to recount, every episode, things like how long did it happen? The timeline. Did you tell anybody? Did they believe you? Did you tell anybody? No. Why not? So many things. Everything has to be unraveled. And I think that now that Braxton Family Values is not on the air and she's done taping and supposedly, allegedly, she's out of any contract with anybody. She doesn't have a contract with anybody right now, on television anyway. I think it's the perfect opportunity for her to, just handle her business. I That's just my feeling on it. If things like this, affects people in a negative way, then it's going to, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to stagnate your life, and that's living negatively. And we have seen a lot of that negativity in Tamar's antics, on and off the show. Now, as far as Tamar's boyfriend, or maybe now ex-boyfriend, I don't know. I don't know what this man um, went through. I'm sure that he will say what he went through. And like I said, when I first started covering this story in my last video, I do feel like he overstepped his boundaries in telling the world Tamar's business. The only thing that needed to be said was, she's, out of it or whatever. I think she took too much medicine and I need an ambulance here. And when it came to the press, I feel like he should have kept his mouth shut because they are not legally married and he's not a part of the family in the sense of a blood relative. I think that the people closest to her, like her mother, her sisters, her brother, I think they should have been the ones. And, to speak out about it. And the reason I say that so strongly, I feel that way, is because Tamar now has a baby. She has a child. And when you look back on this stuff, your children are going to be able to see everything that you have done. So if you've put something incriminating out on social media, on television, on radio, trust and believe they will see it. And other people will make sure that they find out no matter how old the information is. So that's my commentary, on everything. I'm hoping and praying that Tamar gets better. I really hope that she didn't hurt this man in any way. Don't know much about him, but it looks like her family has plenty to say, about this guy. Not all negative things, but just that he seems, controlling. And you know how it is when Tamar feels like somebody's trying to control her or, box her up, just get all in her space, she will lash out. So I'm hoping that this story ends in, a not so negative light. I would hate for him to come out and say she did anything, allegedly, wrong or bad or, tried to hurt him physically or whatever. I would really hate that. I'm hoping that him wanting a restraining order is just because he's being, cautious or he's being careful or he just wants, a breakup without, her, he doesn't want to be in her presence maybe. I'm hoping that that's, the large portion of it because I would hate for Tamar to be in any more trouble. You guys keep Tamar Braxton and her son and the whole family in your prayers. I for one, I'm still hoping that she gets the help that she needs because I actually like Tamar. I don't like her behavior so much, but I think she's very, very talented. And I think that, just because we're middle-aged people, it doesn't mean life is over. I mean, she's got a long life ahead of her. She can turn this around. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will keep on top of this and other stories. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with me, and I will chat with you in another video. Bye for now.